Hello, welcome to the most dangerous podcast. How are you this week, James?
I'm good, Fraser. How are you?
I'm good, yeah, I'm not too bad. Yeah, I've
Yeah.
actually done some work today.
Makes a change.
Yeah, completed a job and hoping to get paid.
Fantastic.
That'll be a strange feeling.
Yeah, you've
But
been busy this week.
being busy, yeah. Do you
It's just-
know, I'm ashamed to say we put our Christmas decorations up over the weekend.
What? It's still
Yeah,
November.
I know.
That's
See this?
illegal, isn't it?
I was going to say because this podcast will probably go out sort of mid-December or something, but for
Mm.
all the listeners, we're recording this on the 27th of November,
Yeah.
and my trees are up. Yes,
Wow. No, well, we don't. We've got a strict rule. It has to be December. Usually it's the first weekend in December. But yeah, we don't even talk about Christmas until December.
usually it's the 1st of December, but next weekend we haven't actually got most of the kids, so we thought we'd do it this weekend.
That's the best time to put it up.
I know. We
So
we all absolutely hated each other by last night. Laura decorating one side of the tree and Teddy pulling all the stuff back off the other side.
Yeah.
I have a little theory, though, about Christmas this year, because I think people have put their decorations up earlier than ever before.
Do you think?
And yeah, I know there's people that have had their trees up for weeks.
Wow.
And I think the country's been that depressed with everything going on that putting your Christmas tree up is like the first part of kind of the end of the year, finishing the year.
Yeah, there could be something in that. Everyone's just kind of like,
Yeah.
oh, let's just get this out of the way.
Yeah,
Let's start again.
that's what I think. I think people are saying, fucking stick the tree up, let's get pissed, it's Christmas, we'll start again next year.
Yeah. Wake me up in 2024.
Yeah, that's just a theory anyway. So, James, what have we got this week?
A very interesting case, as per usual, Fraser.
Always interesting.
Yeah, I've been looking at movies this week.
Movies?
Yeah,
You've just been sitting watching movies.
Well, that's kind of what I do, really. I was thinking about this, and like people have hobbies, and a lot of people have active hobbies. Maybe like running or football or swimming. Well, most of my hobbies are kind of passive. So my hobbies, I just like things being fed into my eyes and my ears, really. So I like movies, video games, very passive hobbies. and I was thinking about hobbies, and it reminded me sort of back. Do you remember at school when you did sort of careers or whatever that
Yeah.
class was, and then they made you do a CV usually, and then one of the things that you put on a CV is kind of like your interests, and everyone. You'd get to that bit, you're like, I don't know, I don't really have any interests. And that was it, you're a bit embarrassed to really say what you really liked. And everyone would put socializing with friends. Everyone. And that's just basically going out, isn't it, with your mates?
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember in school, do you remember the National Record of Achievement?
Yeah. Have you still got yours?
No.
No, I don't know where mine went.
I don't have my GCSE results or anything. I make them up.
It was drilled into us. It was really important as well.
I know.
It's like, you've got to do this. You've got to keep this safe. I don't even know where it is.
I got caught smoking, had to write my own letter to put in my permanent record. I don't know where my permanent record is. I never saw it.
Why would you have that on your record? Like, oh, here's the letter I wrote to myself about smoking.
Is there anything you need to tell us before you start this job? Or have a wee look at my permanent record?
Yeah. I smoke sometimes.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're talking about movies this week. A particular cursed movie, actually, which we'll go on to discuss. But I've got a question for you, Fraser. Do you have a favourite movie?
Do I have a favourite movie? I've got a couple. I'm not ashamed to say it. I was going to say I'm ashamed to say it, but probably my favourite movie is, like a lot of people's, The Shawshank Redemption. I think it's
excellent
film. Absolutely amazing film. Amazing story, actually. I read the story years after I watched the film.
Stephen King, isn't it, I think?
It is, yeah. But I watched a film that it's always stuck in my mind, and it was called, like, Small Apartments or Little Apartments. And it's got Matt Lucas, from Little Britain.
Yeah.
And it's got him in an apartment, and he kills a guy.
Right.
And he always wants to go and live in Austria. I'm not really selling it. He spends most of the film walking about just in his underpants.
Oh, yeah,
Um,
perhaps not my sort of film.
Yeah, it's a bit weird, but it's a film I've always remembered. I don't know if it gave me sleepless nights thinking about him walking about in his underpants like a big jelly baby.
I've not even come across that one, but
No.
funny you should mention Sleepless Nights, because the film that we're going to talk about is actually a horror film, a horror movie. Now, I'll be honest, horror is one of my favourite genres. I do like the odd horror film.
Mhm.
I think I've watched so many of them now, I'm quite numb to them. Nothing really scares me these days. But there are a few over the years that have done it. How about you? Is there a scary movie that sticks in your mind that you've ever come across?
Yeah, and I'm gonna mention someone that has probably been mentioned a couple of times in the podcast now. My granny Ruby. When I was about 5, 6, something like that, I was young. My granny Ruby was looking after us. My mum and dad used to go on holiday. Ruby would come down and watch us, and she put Aliens on, the second one. And
how old were you at the time?
maybe 6, 7. I think 5's pushing it. I was a wee bit older.
Very appropriate for a 7-year-old.
I know. So we watched it, and then she went to the toilet and switched the electricity off. And she hid somewhere and just started going.
So as if the film wasn't enough, she
I
thought,
know,
I'm going to
yeah.
absolutely freak these out.
Scared the shite out of me. So I became quite desensitized to horror. But what actually really scares me is movies that are real. So like something like Hostel
Oh yeah,
could happen. That probably does happen.
yeah.
I hate. There's a film Casino. I think it's in. That's the gangster film, isn't it?
Is that Robert De Niro and
Yeah.
and what's his face? Yeah,
Isn't Sharon Stone in it or something?
I think so. They got this sort of old band back to get together, didn't they? And,
Yeah, and they put a guy's head in a vice,
oh,
and
God.
they just turn it and turn it and turn it, and then you just hear his skull crack.
Nice.
Like things like that really get me more than an alien ripping someone to shreds.
Oh yeah. Do you want to know what my scariest movie is?
Go on.
Watership Down. Have you ever seen that?
I've never looked at it. No.
It's so scary. It's absolutely horrific. So, grandma's again. So,
Yeah.
so my grandma, right? She was a lovely lady, but she did have like a natural air of authority about her. Like, so
This the grandma I knew.
yeah, the one that lived
Yeah.
in Chester. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
when I was younger, I used to go over there and like.
She frightened me.
Yeah, well, she was dead nice, but she did terrify me as well. So yeah, sometimes my mum and dad would take me over there, and they'd go off and do, I don't know, shopping, probably go to the pub, to be honest. And then this one time I went over and she said, "Oh, I've got this lovely movie for you, this cartoon about rabbits,
We bunny rabbits.
really lovely fluffy bunny rabbits." Yeah, so she put it on, and honest to God, right? So it's this rabbit called Fiver. He has a vision. The Warren's going to be destroyed by humans. Basically they're building a housing development. Obviously,
Right,
rabbits, they can't. There is signs about, and you can see the rabbits can't read, so they don't know. So a few of them get together and they fought off to form a new Warren somewhere safe. And being rabbits, obviously there's just peril everywhere. Yeah, so they get snared. There's a farmer with a gun after him. There's dogs chase him and all sorts. Yeah, it's absolutely horrific. It's like blood and guts and everything, and yeah, it's just terrible. And there's this black rabbit that used to really haunt. I still have dreams about it. Really, seriously, because they're sort of constantly chased by death. I can't remember his name now. This black ghost rabbit that just sort of appears every now and then. It's basically death, and you think, oh, lovely rabbits, and they just get ripped apart.
Am I right in thinking that you told me years ago you were going to get a tattoo of that rabbit?
Yeah, it was like kind of face my demons. Yeah. So and the thing is, like, so my grandma would be like, oh yeah, I did that once, but then because she had like a bit of this authority about her. Every time I went over, because I was about 6 or 7 or something, I couldn't say, "Oh no, this is scaring the shit out of me." Like every time I went over, she was, "I've got that film that you really enjoyed. let's
Jesus.
watch it again. So I used to just end up just sitting there having to watch it.
Do you want to watch some rabbits die?
I think she just put it on and like buggered off, so she didn't really know what was going on.
Just a cartoon.
Yeah, it just went on for years. Well, maybe not years. I know time gets a bit kind of skewed, doesn't it, when you're that age? But yeah. Every time I go over, she put this Watership down. Yeah, I did watch it recently actually to try and face some demons, but yeah, it still scares the shit out of me, to be honest.
I can't watch animals die. I could watch people die, but animals, I don't know why. It's something wrong with me. But I get a similar thing. My mum got me this film, Tarka the Otter. A wee film about an otter, and that still haunts me. It's this wee film about an otter on a journey, and it drowns in the end.
Okay.
And it just disappears under the... Yeah, I know. And it just goes under the water, and you just see two bubbles. And that's
oh, tragic.
And it's like, it haunts me. I can't watch like Marley and Me or anything that's...
Oh, that's awful. I mean, that's... Yeah, Marley and Me. Yeah. I remember that came on the telly like must have been years ago now, like 3 or 4 years ago. And I said to my daughter, no, I was a bit mean actually. I said to my daughter and my partner,
watch this.
Like, yeah. Oh, it's dead nice this. Watch this. And then I just like skulked off to like go and play a bit of PlayStation or something. I don't know. And then about 2.5 hours later, they both come down. They're like crying their eyes out. You never told me about. I was like, oh no, probably shouldn't have done that. Another film that really got me when I was younger, Nightmare on Elm Street. You must have seen that one.
Yeah, it's my favourite. Do you know, I've got a Freddy Krueger keyring. I've got a Freddy Krueger thing hanging in my car. It's one of my... I should have probably said that was one of my favourite films.
Yeah, no, the original is absolutely brilliant, yeah.
The original's good, and I think number 4 in the series, or number 3, there's one called Dream Warriors, where they're all in like a mental home. And it's got the original girl from the first one in it.
Yeah, Nancy,
yeah.
So when I was about 10, I asked my mum if I could watch it, and it's not a film for kids, is it? So naturally she went, no way, like you're not watching it. Mm-hmm. So like I pressed her like for weeks. I was like, please, I just want to see this. It's like no. No, anything from A Quiet Life. My mum just turned around, just went, yeah, right, okay, you can, right, you can watch it, but don't you dare have nightmares over this. Like,
don't fucking run into me.
Don't come running to me. I will see my arse.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, it's fine, yeah, no worries. So she let me watch it. I mean, she probably shouldn't have done really, but she did. I mean, I was young, and then so I watched it. Then 3 o'clock that morning, 3 a.m. For the next 7 nights, just like I just couldn't sleep. Another movie story that I've got. I mean, it's not really relevant to this, but have you heard of RoboCop?
RoboCop, yeah, never seen it.
Have you not? So there's quite a few of them. I think it goes up to 4. I think, and they did the reboot recently. 1 and 2 are the only real RoboCops.
I know a fair bit about it, but I've never watched it.
Yeah, I mean, the most of them are rubbish, but 1 and 2 are really like. The first one is excellent. I do recommend that you watch that one actually, because it's like a satirical look at corporate greed and political breakdown, due to underfunding and things like that. It's daft, but there's like a point to it. So it's like one of my favourites. RoboCop 2, it's another good film, but it kind of loses that sort of social commentary bit, and it just becomes a bit of daft fun. So I lived in Warrington at the time, and a guy that I knew, a boy, called Philip. He was like my best mate at the time, and he had an older brother.
Yeah,
I mean, he was probably only about 14 at the time, but we thought he was like the bollocks, like dead old. Like we were young, 10 or whatever. So Philip comes into school one day, and he says that he's seen RoboCop 2 with his brother. And it's like, it's the best film I've ever seen. You've got to see it. So again, Mom, can I watch this movie? No, it's like an 18. I don't think it would be if it was released today, but at the time, a 10-year-old asking your mum to watch an 18 is a pretty big deal. So again, like, mum wants an easy life, so she said, right, okay, you can, right, but someone has to sit and watch it with you, and if it gets too much, it's going off, right?
Yeah.
So, and it turns out that particular week I went to my grandma's. And she, as I mentioned, she lived in Chester, and we rented it out. You remember the video shop around the corner?
Cavern Video.
That's it, yeah. So we rented it out from there. And I think the folks went out to IKEA or whatever, wherever they went. And so it was down to my grandma to sit with me and watch RoboCop 2. No, you said you've not seen it.
No.
Fucking hell, like, it's not a film for like 10-year-olds, man.
No.
It's like there's this drug lord who's a child, like,
Right.
He's like a serial killer. He's about 12, right? And I think he ends up like committing suicide or something.
Fucking hell.
I mean, yeah, like, don't quote me on that. It's something he definitely dies.
Yeah.
RoboCop ends up being cut in half, and the big boss at the end, like, his brain gets smashed on the pavement, like not his head, but literally his brain.
Bloody hell.
So I don't know, like, what my grandma was doing, but I watched the whole thing, like, start to finish till the credits roll. I don't know if she might like fell asleep or
Yeah.
I don't know, like, but yeah. So I think my love of film probably stems from memories, that are created while you watch certain films. Like, certain films that will trigger me. Like, so like Watership Down, as much as I hate it, just reminds me of going to my grandma's,
Yeah, of course.
And like other things do that. So the film that I'm going to discuss today, I don't really have emotional ties with it personally, but I've seen it and I've enjoyed it, and it's called The Omen from 1976.
The Omen. I think it's a film that pretty much everyone knows about it, because you always kind of have a second glance at any kid called Damien, don't you?
Exactly, yeah. Everyone knows Damien, don't they? And like,
why did you call your kid Damien? You must have seen the film, surely.
Yeah. And if there's some like naughty kid in your kid's class, you're like, oh, he's a Damien.
Yeah.
It's like, so it's there's that. It's definitely like got a cultural hold on people. Like, people know about it.
Well, that's it. As an example, as you know, I hadn't watched this film until this week.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Yeah, I was going to say, I asked you to watch it, and you did. So did you enjoy it?
I enjoyed it, yeah. But what I was going to say is, I knew kind of all about the film without having ever watched it, because it's such an iconic film out there, and there's the Damien thing and the music and stuff like that. But as a film, I enjoyed it. Yeah, it's got that kind of, it's very 70s film.
I think that adds to the charm as well if you watch it these days. I mean, the film itself, it's pretty lame in horror, in terms of horror, like, compared to what you get today.
It's my mother-in-law's one of her favourite films. Is
it really?
Yeah. So she loves that, but she moans about the remakes, where obviously the effects can be better, but they just seem to fuck up films when they try and redo them, don't they?
Yeah, they really do. So did you find that out after discussing the pod with her? Is that how you found
out?
Yes,
yeah.
Oh, yeah, did you?
Discussing it with her a couple of days ago, and
all right.
She quite likes it. She loves the Halloween films. She loves reading Stephen King, so I've got quite a lot in common with her. It's unusual with a mother-in-law to actually quite like them.
Yeah, so this is one of her favourite films. So we've got to do this justice then, really. We can't mess this one up.
Definitely, no.
So it's not the actual film itself that I'd consider the most dangerous.
Right.
It's something else. It's a curse that surrounds the movie.
Wow.
Okay, but before we go into that, I'm just going to run through a little bit of background, as we do.
Okay.
So, The Omen, it's a 1976 supernatural horror. It's directed by a chap called Richard Donner and written by David Seltzer.
Sorry to interrupt. Was Richard Donner do the Goonies?
Do you know what? Have you seen my note? Yes, he did. Yeah. So Richard Donner, he goes on to direct after this Superman in 1978, the original, The Goonies.
Did he direct the Goonies?
I think he was co-director or something like that. I was
going to say Spielberg was involved.
Yeah, he was involved somehow or another. Yeah. So and then and also the Lethal Weapon series.
Oh wow!
With Mel Gibson.
Yeah.
So he did go on to have a decent career.
Knew what he was doing.
Absolutely, yeah. And David Seltzer also would go on to have a decent career writing films. He'd do a film called Bird on the Wire. I don't know if you come across that one.
No, don't know.
That's a pretty old one. It's got Mel Gibson and Goldie Hawn in it.
Yeah, right.
And then he'd do sequels to The Omen and reboots and things like that. So, I mean, he's done a few others, and it's a bit before our time, this, so it's difficult to kind of get, he's done this and this, because we don't really know the films.
I just remember at the start of the Goonies, it said a Richard Donner film.
Do you remember that, do you?
I must have watched it about 100 times.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's a great film, that, isn't it?
My sister used to make me do the truffle shuffle.
You weren't that big, were you? Ever?
No, but she just used to make me do it.
The film itself, it stars a chap called Gregory Peck, Lee Remick, David Warner, Billy Whitelaw, Patrick Thornton, Martin Benson, and Leo McKern. So again, it is a bit before our time. Now these are sort of seasoned actors, and they've done loads and loads of films. Probably not many that you'd recognised. I think the one that sticks out is Gregory Peck.
So, I know the name.
Yeah, you would have heard of him. I won't go into too much detail of what the other ones have done. But as I say, it's kind of like the golden generation of Hollywood, and they're well-to-do actors. Gregory Peck himself, he won 2 Academy Awards in his career.
Oh, wow.
Various other nominations and awards, too many to list. And in 1999, he was voted the 12th greatest male movie star of all time.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. So you know, again, before our time, really. But he was up there, or he is up there when it comes to Hollywood stars.
The main reason I know him is my granddad used to ask me to pass him his Gregory Pecks, which meant his specs.
Specs. Oh, yeah, well, it's Cockney rhyming slang for neck, isn't it? Gregory Peck.
Is it?
I think. Might be wrong.
Glasgow rhyming slam at specs then.
Yeah, specs and neck. Yeah. But because I wasn't sure whether I'd heard of him because of the rhyming slang or whether the actor, but I'm guessing it's probably a bit of both. Because I've seen this film like a long time ago when I was a bit younger. So. The film itself was released on the 25th of June 1976. This is in the USA and Canada. I don't have the official release date for the UK because it used to be different. Do you remember like films used to get released first in the US and then
bastards.
Yeah, like a few weeks later in the UK.
Yeah, that was with everything. I mean, even recently though, do you not remember Game of Thrones used to come out the day before in America?
Yeah.
Watching
right.
it. Wasn't that a British thing? It was
filmed in Ireland, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that used to happen quite a lot. It'd be weeks though, wouldn't it? It wouldn't be like the next day. It'd be like, it'd be a few weeks later. Everything seems to be in sync these days. Because all the studios are kind of collaborating together. So,
also, as soon as it's released, it's somewhere on the internet, so they might as well just release it everywhere.
Well, that's it. And you know, if you remember through like COVID and stuff, because people couldn't go to the cinemas, the films were just getting released on streaming sites, weren't they? But yeah, so 1976, it was slightly different. It got released in the USA and Canada on the 25th of June, as I say. Don't know when the UK release came out. I would imagine it was somewhere around that point. The film itself would go on to have huge commercial success. Okay, so it costed all 2.8 million to make.
Which quite a bit for back then.
Yeah. I mean, it's peanuts now, really. I suppose when you're making a film and stuff. But yeah, back then it's a decent amount. But it'd go on to gross 61 million.
Oh wow, decent profit.
Yeah, absolutely. That was just through the theatrical release alone. It'd actually go on to make a further 48 million from the rental market.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know, like these numbers must stop at some point, you know, because I imagine it's still making money of some description now.
Yeah, probably tails off, and it's small money sort of every year. But
yeah, because I think it's on a streaming site at the moment. It's a popular streaming site, so every time, or they must pay someone to put that on there, or
of course,
or they'll get money every time it's played or something. I don't know. So yeah, there's a cut-off point it's somewhere along the line, but yeah, it's a decent amount from a 2.8 million investment. It's not a bad return, really.
No, I think they probably, so that they can compare films, they probably say, right, in its first 2 years, what did it make?
Yeah. There must be an industry standard sort of cut-off point. So a huge success. Yeah, I mean, it's such a success. It'd go on to lead to multiple sequels and spin-offs and reboots and documentaries and everything. So yeah, he's not done too bad there, has he?
Can I ask, was it based on a book, or was it just an original screenplay, or?
Yeah, I think it's an original screenplay. Yeah, because they had the writer, didn't they? That chap, David Seltzer. I think he wrote it. I've not come across a book that it was based on. Please let me know if I'm wrong. It probably drew influences from literature across the board, but not specifically a book. The Omen, I don't think.
Right.
Right, so you've seen the film. I know you've seen the film.
I've seen the film, yeah.
Yeah. Why don't you give me a brief overview of the plot?
An overview of the plot. A couple have a baby. The baby grows up to a wee boy, and weird stuff starts to happen.
Mhm.
Like people die around the child. I think is it the childminder's the first to die.
I think so, yeah.
And they start to notice things like animals don't want to come near him and stuff like that. And he just he seems to have like a kind of aura about him. And then a wee priest guy comes and finds the child's father and basically says, "Look, this is the son of the devil.
Yeah.
You need to stop him, kill him, do something about it." And the dad kind of chases him away, and then more stuff happens.
Yeah, that's
So
yeah.
more people carry on dying, and obviously it ends. I'm not going to spoil the end of the film. You can do that.
Yeah, I will do. I think we're okay. It's what is it, 50, nearly 50 years old? We're okay with spoilers.
Yeah, that's it. But yeah, it's basically about a child that is the son of the devil, and a lot of people die around him.
Yeah, that's it. Exactly. Yeah. So one thing I will pick you up on is they don't actually have the baby, do they? So what happens is it's like a diplomat, a US diplomat, and at the beginning of the film he's based in Rome.
Yeah.
And I think him and his wife have been trying, that's Gregory Peck and his wife, have been trying for a baby for quite a long time. And from what the baby dies in childbirth, and then this is morally, like, there's some moral questions here.
It's swapped out.
Yeah, so the priest comes up and says, "Oh, we're really sorry that your baby's died." The wife doesn't know anything about this. The priest goes up to the father and says, "Oh, we're really sorry your baby's died." But next door in the other room, we've got a situation where the mother's died. So, do you want that baby? And he kind of goes, "Yeah, all right then, yeah." So it's not actually his son, is it? It's just some random child.
Don't tell the missus.
Yeah. Like, well, she doesn't know, does she? And you mentioned the nanny as well. Because I watched this film last night just for a bit of a refresh. And yeah, so the kid doesn't like the first nanny for some reason, and like she ends up, like, he gives her an evil look, and I think she throws herself out of a window with a noose around the neck, doesn't she?
Yeah.
And they get this other nanny in, right?
The old dear.
But she brings a Rottweiler with her.
Yeah.
But she doesn't mention this to the family though. Like I think that the mother's walking down the corridor like one afternoon, and there's a fucking huge dog there, like, and she's like, "Oh, we didn't realise you were bringing your dog with you." It's like, do you not think to mention that?
That house though, that I mean, he must be on some fucking dough for that house, because it's just outside London, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a huge mansion, and I don't know, like back in those days, it's probably about 10,000 quid.
Probably. You couldn't even put a price on that. That's probably owned by the National Trust nowadays.
Yeah, it's a huge
mental house. So I reckon you could hide a Rottweiler in there.
But she doesn't even try to hide it. She just brought it with her.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, and then, as you say, like, some priest phones him up and says, "Oh, we think your kid's the Antichrist." Yeah, I mean, if some priest did that to me, you'd probably be like, "Yeah, you're probably right, actually." Yeah,
yeah,
you might have a point.
Yeah, just give you a call. "Hello, I think your child is the Antichrist."
Yeah, he'd be like, so should I kill him?
Like, I don't know.
yeah, like, just cutting you off, like, just yeah, I've got a plan already.
It's fine, yeah, I'll just go and club him to death.
Yeah, just in the background, you're like, Mr. Smiley.
Never liked the little bastard.
Just talking over him, like, over.
Back then, dads weren't as interested in the kid, were they? It was like, look, as long as I've got a kid to take home, I'm all right about that. You know, like, the dads used to go down the pub and smoke cigars and stuff. Give us a call when that fucking kid's out.
I don't know. If, maybe. No, I don't know. I don't know if I can agree with this. I mean, that's not the premise that is given, I don't think. Yeah. The dad's not just like, just any kid will do, like,
no chance you could swap it for one that hasn't got ginger hair.
Yeah, hasn't got, like, isn't the spawn of the devil? Any chance of that? Yeah. So yeah, as you said, the story progresses, and then, you know, if the kid takes a dislike to you, it's curtains, really, isn't it?
Oh yeah,
you. But I've got a bit of difficulty with that, actually, because, you know, kids have sort of different rationale to adults, don't they?
Oh, true. Yeah.
So if it was like real life, it'd be like, who's eating me Haribos?
Yeah.
Dead. Cut a long story short, like everyone dies basically. And like I said, I think we can get away with spoilers. It's nearly 50 years old.
Yeah.
I mean, the film, it's pretty creepy, I think, the film.
Mm-hmm.
Cinema's definitely moved on, as we mentioned.
Yeah.
It's a walk in the park compared to the stuff out today. But I mean, the bit at the end, particularly, that's pretty dark, where the dad's literally trying to kill him in the church.
Yeah.
You know, that's pretty. It's a 6-year-old, you know,
trying to stick a dagger in him.
Yeah. It's worth watching if you've got an hour and a half spare. So, but it's not the actual film, as I said before, that makes it onto our most dangerous list this week. So our story begins in June of 1975, so a few months before recording started.
Mm-hmm.
So Gregory Peck's son, called Jonathan,
he
was a tall, handsome fella. Graduated from college, track and field star, enrolled in the Peace Corps. Actually spent 2 years in Tanzania.
Oh wow!
Then he came back to California. He worked in LA on radio stations, and then later on TV stations. He was described by one of his former bosses as one of the most pleasant people I've ever known.
Yeah.
One summer's day, so in June in 1975, he called his boss to say that he was having a bit of difficulty finding some stories. So I'm guessing he was working on the TV station as some sort of reporter. So his boss said to him, "Look, I've got a new assignment for you.
Mm-hmm.
You might enjoy this one. Just get yourself going and see what you can find out." And that very day, later that night, Jonathan Peck was found dead.
What the hell?
He seemed to have shot himself, and he was
seems to have shot himself.
Well, he was found to have shot himself. Yeah,
right.
Not seemed. Seemed probably was the wrong word, but yeah, he was just aged 30.
What the hell? That's shit.
Yeah, so there's no note, no death note, no suicide note. It was ruled as suicide, and obviously his father, Gregory Peck, was devastated.
And this was during the film, and so he had to carry on filming.
Well, this was just before filming started. Yeah, so Gregory found out about his son's death, and his agent said to him, "Look, I've got this role for you." Richard Thorne, it was the father's name in the film. He said, "Look, I think it'd be really good for you because it can channel your grief. You can put it into this film because otherwise it's just something to move you away from these circumstances." So I mean, it does actually. It appears that tragedy struck before the filming's even started here. Yeah. So and it does seem to be the start of a chain of events.
Okay.
That happened throughout filming and afterwards. In fact, which can only be described as terrifying, really.
Yeah.
Later that year, so in October 1975, Gregory Peck was on a London-bound aeroplane. So you'll remember from the film, a lot of it is filmed in London because he goes from Rome to London. So he's on his way to London to do some filming when his aircraft was struck by lightning.
What the hell?
Yeah, the bolt caused one of the engines to catch on fire, and it did come very close to crashing into the Atlantic. I mean, the pilot managed to save it and land safely, but yeah, his actual flight was struck by lightning. A few weeks later, one of the producers, Mace Newfield, he was on his way to LA to do some shooting when his aeroplane was also struck by lightning crossing the Atlantic.
What are the odds on that? Do you know?
Well, hang on. Let me just go through this, and then we can have a chat about it. Yeah. So, Mr. Newfield said it was the roughest 5 minutes he's ever had in an airline. Being struck by lightning. Now, it's a fair comment. It's not that unusual for lightning to strike planes. They're going through the clouds and stuff.
Right.
So it's not rare enough to go, whoa, that's really mad. But that's twice in a couple of weeks, really.
Right.
Yeah. And if that's not creepy enough, the screenwriter David Seltzer, he was on an aeroplane, sort of going between shoots, and his got struck by lightning as well.
What the hell?
And another fella, Harvey Bernard, but I think it'd be Bernard, won't it? Because
Probably, yeah.
so he was, he's filming in Rome when they do the scenes in Rome at the beginning of the film, and he was himself not in a plane. He was nearly struck by lightning. It like hit the ground like quite near him, or something. Yeah. So that's like 4 near misses with lightning.
Wow.
With people who have some connection, some involvement with this film.
Yeah.
It's kind of a mad coincidence.
Yeah.
Should we say?
I assume they were all in different aeroplanes.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
It's not
it's
like
all different.
one particular plane that's quite
being
struck. They were all different planes.
Lightning Airlines.
Yeah.
So 4 near misses. It could be coincidence, but it's weird, very weird.
Yeah, definitely.
So this Mace Newfield, the chap that I spoke about, who his plane was struck by lightning. He was the Omen's executive producer,
right?
And he had an encounter that he dubbed himself more than coincidental.
Right.
So him, Gregory Peck, and a few others, they planned to dine out in a London restaurant.
Right.
One evening, they were all ready to go. Before the group was to appear at the restaurant, the building was destroyed by an IRA bomb.
Bloody hell!
So there was a near miss there.
Yeah.
So I mean, it could have been a day before or something. I don't know, but they were booked in to go to this restaurant, and an IRA bomb struck it. And Richard Donner, the chap, producer, director, whoever we spoke about before. So him and his wife, at the end of filming, they were staying in a London hotel. At the end of the filming, they checked out of their London hotel a day early because they were all done. The day that they were due to check out, I think, or it might have been the day after, the hotel was hit by an IRA bomb as well. And pretty much leveled. Yeah. So, I mean, IRA bombs were unfortunately quite common around that time in London and things like that. But, it's close proximity to these people who are involved in this film. It's just a bit weird.
Well, it is, yeah. I mean, you can sort of see that the IRA bomb was going to happen, but
like that restaurant, they were going, how many restaurants are there in London? How many hotels are there in London? Like, it's just
Well, that's like lightning happens every day, but why is it striking all 4 planes?
Yeah.
3 planes and 1 guy.
No. Nearly 1 guy. So I was thinking, you said about the footballers, he couldn't have hit the ground near him because he would have collapsed or whatever. So it must have just maybe it just struck a building near him or something.
Yeah, something high up.
Yeah. So in the film, so you remember a scene when they go to the zoo?
Yes, yeah.
The bit where he goes and like
baboons.
Yeah, but no, he goes and looks at the giraffes and then he'll just go, fuck off, like, and then just like run. I thought that was well funny.
Yeah, I'm out of here.
Yeah, but there's the bit, as you're right, you say the bit with the baboons. So apparently, when they all go a bit mad and attack the car, that was real.
It was real.
Yeah. So Lee Remick, who's the mother, the wife, apparently she's not acting in that scene. Those baboons are just going absolutely mental. Oh right. Yeah, attacking the car, just going sick, and she's genuinely terrified whilst it's sort of driving off and stuff. Yeah. So the baboons went mad, and then the day after that scene was filmed, so there's the zookeeper who was hired to assist with the animals in that scene. Yeah. That zookeeper, he was eaten by some laugh. he was eaten by a lion.
Shit. I mean, accidentally. That's not the right word. Was he doing something stupid, or did something weird happen, like a door opened that shouldn't have, or something like that?
No, I don't think it's like supernatural. He just got ate by a lion. I don't think that happened. Like, it doesn't happen very often. Yeah. And even in like the 70s, 1976, I don't think it happened very often then either. Like,
no.
I know kind of things were different, and things are perhaps not as. Perhaps we weren't sort of safety conscious as we are these days. Yeah. But I don't think it was an everyday thing where someone was being eaten. A zookeeper got ate by a lion.
No. Yeah. Particularly in a zoo, I know in like circuses when they dick about the lions and stuff like that, sometimes they turn on them, and to be honest, that's no less than they deserve. But but zookeepers is usually even back in the 70s, a 2-gate system. It's quite
Yeah.
standard.
Well, I mean, and plus he was hired to assist with the filming of the animals. So I'd hazard a guess to say this is like an experienced zookeeper. It's not just some work experienced guy. They would have picked surely one of the most experienced people there. It's not just going to be like Johnny, 16-year-old Johnny or whatever. It's going to be the top guy, isn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, he would have known not to dick around with a lion. It might have, in fact, it was a lion or a tiger. We're not too sure.
Yeah.
But it was a big cat. He got eaten.
What the hell?
Yeah, so and that's not the only animal incident associated with this film. So you'll probably remember as well. There's a scene at the end where they're in a graveyard and there's 2 big dogs.
Yeah.
Rottweilers. So Gregory Peck's stuntman in that scene, the dogs attacked him.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And he didn't die, but he did survive. But he was pretty badly injured because they just went mad.
Right. So this is his stunt double, the guy that's him.
Yeah. So he was just doing the scene, or in the scene, and then the dogs just went sick and mauled him for no reason. It doesn't. So yeah, that's another weird going on. So more aircraft fun. All right.
Yeah.
So reportedly, Gregory Peck, he was chartered on a flight.
Yeah.
Now I don't know what this was for. Maybe it's to do more filming or to do something, but he was chartered on a particular flight, and he cancelled it for some unknown reason. He said, "Oh no, it's not for me." Now there are reports that it being hired for the crew to do some aerial shots,
right?
And stuff like that. Yes, but they ended up not needing it, so the flight was cancelled. Gregory Peck didn't get on it. That actual flight was used for another reason. On the same day, and it crashed, and it killed all passengers on board.
Got it.
Everybody that was on board that flight,
the
same flight that would have been. But not only this, so more. This is really weird. So when the plane hit the ground, as it crashed, it hit a vehicle which had family members of the pilot inside it.
Shit, they did.
Yeah, so the plane came
pilot.
down and it hit a vehicle, and in that vehicle, the pilot had family members.
God, I mean, the odds on that.
Yeah, this is the thing, isn't it?
Slim. Yeah.
What is going on? Yeah.
But how's the pilot involved? He hasn't had anything to do with it.
No, I know, yeah.
Well,
Poor
fucking pilot is getting involved here, and
nothing to do with it. But it was supposed to be Gregory Peck's flight, and he didn't get on it. And that's what happened. So it could have been him on the flight. Yeah. So yeah, it's so weird. So perhaps, I mean, this is the last one, last part of the curse, and it is. This is creepy. This is really weird. I got goosebumps when I read about this.
Yeah.
So it happened to a lady called Liz Moore, right? And she was an assistant to a chap called John Richardson. And he was a special effects designer for the film. Yeah. So you'll remember in the film, there's a bit where a photographer guy, like a reporter, he has a car crash, and I think it's a sheet of glass that cuts his head off. It is, yeah. It slides off the back of like a pickup truck. That's right. Yeah. And he has an argument, doesn't he, with Gregory Peck, I think, and then he runs off. I can't remember, but yeah. Even though I've got to be honest, the special effects guys involved in this, the special effects and that bit were crap. Yeah, but it's 1976. You know, it's no CGI or whatever. But it's a bit that you remember in the film, regardless of the effects. It's pretty shocking. Yeah. John Richardson, special effects designer. Liz Moore, his assistant. I think they were married. Right. Okay. I'm not 100% sure on this, but I think they were. They were together in the Netherlands, driving to another. The filming had finished. They'd been assigned to another film. They were driving around Europe and through the Netherlands. Whilst driving, they were tragically involved in a really bad car crash. Right. So Richardson, he'd come away with relatively unscathed, a few cuts and bruises. Liz Moore, on the other hand, in the accident, she'd been hit by a tyre that flew through the front of the windscreen, and it decapitated her.
Shit, just like him in the film.
That's right, yeah.
Oh.
Now, not only this, so the accident itself took place on Friday the 13th. Okay.
Yeah.
That's superstition, but yeah,
The
it
old
was
cursed day.
Friday the 13th.
My sister was born on Friday the 13th.
And it was 66.6 kilometres away from a town called Ommen,
Fucking hell.
which is spelled Ommen in Netherlands, in Holland.
Just like Omen.
66.6 kilometres.
Yeah. See, now that is quite weird. That is
That is
quite
creepy.
Yeah.
That is creepy.
Where do the 360s come from originally?
I don't know. I probably should have looked that up
Yeah. I've often wanted to shave some of my kids' heads.
just to check.
Yeah.
That's what happens in the film, isn't it?
Yeah.
He kind of puts his hair off and goes, oh shit. I don't know.
I just don't know where the 360s come from. I'd like to.
I think it is explained. If I remember, it is explained. So it's like the Holy Trinity.
Right.
Is the three.
Mm-hmm.
Just like I don't know. Yeah, I'm sure it's explained in the film. It's like the backwards.
Email in if you know. Let us know.
Yeah, please do. Yeah.
Yeah. We'd love an email.
just one email, please. For the love of God, somebody email us. Right. Okay. So that's pretty much it, really. There's not much more to go on, I don't think. What do you think, Fraser? What are your thoughts on this? Did you get some shivers down your spine there?
Well, yeah. The last one, I mean, the truck crash, the 66.6 miles from basically Omen.
Very weird. Very weird.
That's quite weird because when you started saying about the 66.6 miles, or everything's 66.6 miles away from something, but for it to be that far away from a town.
A town, yeah. And that's a real town. You can check it if you Google it.
Yeah.
It's Ommen, Yeah, it's a real place. Yeah.
That's quite creepy. And the 4 lightning strikes, they're quite creepy. His son killing himself before the film. I don't know, but when you start putting them all together, it is a bit weird. Yeah, definitely. This sounds like there's some kind of curse.
It does, doesn't it? Really? I mean, it's always
difficult.
Yeah. It's always difficult with these things because
Yeah.
Maybe some of it could be coincidence. Some of it's obviously tragic accidents and things like that.
Yeah.
But individually, but as a collective, that's when it becomes a bit weird, a bit spooky.
Yeah, I don't think either of us are particularly spiritualist sort of people that believe in anything like that. But a bit like the Aaron Ramsey thing, when things start to turn up all the time, you start saying, this is a bit weird.
When there's a pattern.
Yeah.
So I mentioned, it was a critical, well, not critical, it was a big box office success.
Yeah.
It's like some people didn't like it critically, but critics are weird. So naturally, the film spawned sequels, spin-offs, and things like that. And in 2005, somebody made a documentary about it.
Right.
About the curse itself, not the film, the actual curse. And producer Alan Tyler, he confessed that at 2 different camera crews in 2 different locations, they had the exact same technical difficulties with the footage that they filmed.
Really?
So they were filming on location, and everything just went down all at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And then further in 2006, there was a remake of The Omen. And there was 2 separate incidents in this film. The first revolved around, do you know an actor called Pete Postlethwaite?
I know the name, yeah.
Yeah, he's a very famous British. He's dead now, I think. Oh yeah, he is dead. Yeah. But he's very famous back in the day. He's a great actor, actually. Well, his brother died unexpectedly while they were filming the sequel.
Right. Was he in the film?
He was part of the film, and he died unexpectedly. And in a second incident, footage. So in the film, there's a scene very much like in the original where the main protagonist finds the birthmark on Damien, the 3 6s. So in this particular film, 13,500 feet of film got inexplicit of that particular scene. You know, when it's discovered that the kid is Damien, they find the
Yeah.
birthmark. So 13,500 feet of film got inexplicably destroyed.
Right.
Just out of the, no one knows why or how, or
Like
just
wiped or disintegrated or
so I'm guessing if it's that, it would have been the old sort of film reel stuff.
Yeah,
yeah. So I'm guessing I don't know, some sort of damage to it.
hell.
Obviously, it's not as extreme as the earlier incidents, but you know,
No.
they're still sort of weird things happen when
Still stuff going on.
yeah. So what I do understand is that there's a new film to be released in 2024, actually. So it's a prequel to the original. So I think we'll have to wait and see, I guess,
Yeah.
to see if anything.
Imagine saying, God, loads of people died. And
Yeah.
loads of shit happened when that film was made. Let's make another.
Yeah. Do you want to be my film? What's it called? No.
Just swerve it. Write a new film. I've got to be honest with you. One of the things that annoys me so much just now is the amount of remakes of songs, remakes of movies. Just fucking write new ones.
Yeah. The sort of turning point for me, it probably happened before, but the turning point was Toy Story 4.
Yeah. They're working on Toy Story 5.
It was so unnecessary. That was such a lovely, like Toy Story 3 was such a lovely bookend to the whole saga, right? But then it's clear that 4 and 5 are just money spinners. You know,
definitely.
Like people like them. Let's just churn them out, and they're they're watchable. They're all right.
Yeah,
it's not, you know. Do something else. Do something new. Come on.
I know the other one that bugged me, and this is nothing sexist whatsoever. The female Ghostbusters one.
Yeah,
just seemed a bit daft, you know.
It did annoy me a little bit. That I mean, the movie itself wasn't too bad. I'd probably get pelters for that, but I didn't think it was too bad. But you don't need to. It doesn't need to be Ghostbusters, does it?
No, can we not just write a new film?
Something else? Yeah, It could just be like, you know, like the same story, but why Ghostbusters? Why? Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. Going off on a tangent again. Two old grumpy guys fucking moaning.
That's it, exactly.
Yeah.
Why can't it be like it used to be?
All the kids nowadays, listen to this tune that I'm listening to on TikTok. Like, that was out when I was a fucking kid.
Yeah. I've heard it before. And it was better.
Yeah. Yeah, they've just messed with it.
Right. Okay, so, I mean, it's difficult to draw conclusions on this, I think. There's loads of other movie curses.
Well, yeah, I think you've said this. I think we need to maybe do a couple of episodes, a couple more movies ones.
Yeah, I think I'll come back to this at some point.
Yeah.
So, like The Exorcist, a famous film, I think there's a curse involved there, I think. Another one called Rosemary's Baby. Have you heard of that one?
Yeah, that's a Steve King story.
No. It's not.
No, I'm thinking of something else, yeah.
Yeah, Rosemary, it's a very famous, like late 60s, early 70s horror film. Same premise. I think she gives birth to a baby and it's a devil.
Bastard.
A devil, yeah. No. Like the actual devil. I don't think it's not
right.
So it's very good, actually. It's worth watching.
I saw a Facebook thing the other day of them basically taking the piss out of Star Wars. How, you know, like some of the Imperial guys, their medals are actually chewing gum packets with colours painted on them, and you know, daft things like that.
Yeah,
like,
it adds to the charm.
Slagging it, and you go, hang on, they were fucking brilliant films. They were like, you know, so what?
Sometimes I think these days you can get films that are just over CGI and stuff, and like you watch it and it's so fit. You know, like, did you ever watch the Transformer films?
Yeah.
I can't watch them. They're just too noisy.
Yeah,
just too loud. Yeah, metal against metal and guns going off. I'm like, no, and it's all CGI and stuff. And I do like with these older films. I do like their sort of, I don't know, the quirkiness of them, and I think that does make it a bit creepy.
Yeah, I think it peaked. I've already mentioned it. Peaked round about Terminator, where there was a bit of CGI. But you know the guy that plays the T-1000.
Yeah.
Things like he spent time learning how to run that way.
Yeah, to make it look more authentic and stuff.
Yeah, there wasn't much CGI in that film. I mean, there was, but it was like almost like an overlay. A lot of it was acted just with a bit of CGI put on
Yeah, so
top.
if it was made today, it would just
Yeah.
all be purely CGI and stuff.
Yeah.
Like no, like because they used to use models and things like that, didn't they?
I know.
And like but yeah, all if it was done today, it would just all be completely CGI. Just throw as much money as it. I mean, it was very expensive when it was made at the time, but
Yeah.
today, I don't know. It'd just be
Mhm.
grumpy old men going off again.
Even Titanic, when it was made, they had a big model boat that they sank in a swimming pool to do the filming. It wasn't all done on computers. Anyway, grumpy guys.
So I mean, that's pretty much it. That's me, I think. Yeah, these horror films, The Exorcist, Rosemary's Baby, The Omen, all from a similar era, but all horror, similar genre, and I think, as I say, we might look at the other ones later down the line.
Yeah.
But there's some tragic conclusions to the filming, the not staff, what they called, cast, things like that. So I think on this episode, on this occasion, I'm just going to park this one a little bit, and I'm going to put it into a new category that I've just invented today, called undecided.
Undecided. Yeah, I think we'll maybe do one or two more in the future on movies, and then at that point we can sort of say, right, out of the three that we've done, what do you think?
We'll have a better overview. I mean, it's clearly a dangerous movie. There's dangerous circumstances surrounding it. Depending on what you believe, like, is it coincidence? Is there something here that's outerworldly, that's paranormal? Maybe. I think it's best perhaps we just park this one, and then we'll have a look at it at a later date.
Definitely. I just wanted to throw in, when you talked about this, I thought about what movies, you hear stories about, like you said, people actually getting shot and hurt on set and stuff like that. And there's the old story about Walt Disney driving 1,000 lemmings off a cliff to film a scene and stuff like that.
I've heard about it.
But a film that always comes up, that people say was dangerous, was The Wizard of Oz. There's a lot of stories about. I mean, there's the famous one of the Munchkin that hung himself that you can still see in the movie.
Okay.
But do you know that the Tin Man had so much like powdered aluminium put on him, he ended up poisoned and in hospital.
Oh yeah, I think like that does sound familiar, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. And the witch that gets burnt at the start of the film.
Yeah.
To film that scene, she ended up with 2nd and 3rd degree burns.
Wow.
And even things like the lion, the cowardly lion, they actually killed and skinned a real lion to make a suit, to make it look more authentic.
Yeah, it was different back then, wasn't it?
Yeah, but he was so hot that he kept passing out, and they were like, you can't take the suit off because it's a pain in the ass to put back in. You're just going to have to deal with it. Drink plenty of water, fucking deal with the heat. And he kept passing out, and he had like heart issues. And some of the films, like back in the day, they were dangerous because of the stuff they put the actors.
Yeah. In fact, wasn't there something about like, is it like snow seed or something?
Yeah, it was asbestos.
Asbestos, yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
Powdered asbestos, and they were like rolling about in it, breathing.
That's right. Yeah, I've heard about that. I mean, in those circumstances, I think like CGI might be all right.
Definitely, yeah. No, leave the asbestos at home.
Yeah. So so there's loads of stuff like that. So I think it's probably another one of those where we can have another look at it.
Definitely
when we run out of ideas.
Yeah. But no, I've really enjoyed that. Time's flown by.
Yeah, God. Well, don't get too scared again.
No,
I seem to I do these episodes and Fraser has nightmares.
I do, yeah. Pee in the bed and stuff.
Yeah, like the Halloween one, he didn't sleep for a week.
I know, I didn't. That's why I'm looking like this.
Right. Okay, well, that's it. Thank you so much for listening.
Thanks, James.
No problem. Again, what's the email address, and do all that?
Yeah, if you want to email in, if you've got any ideas for us, it's jamesandfraserpod@gmail.com. We have got a Facebook page, if you're still using that. So follow us, The Most Dangerous Podcast, on Facebook, and you get all the information on there. But yeah, we'd love to hear from you. Let us know what you think.
We definitely would. Thank you very much, Fraser, for listening, and take care, everyone.
It's been been a pleasure. That was the Most Dangerous Podcast, and that was Movie. See you later, James.
Take care.